We continue this Delaware watch party with former Blue Hens goalie Matt DeLuca joining us now. Matt, we just showed people the Delaware Hofstra game from back in 2018. It ended with you doing a little dance behind the cage. Take me back to what were you thinking when, like, they just let you go and so you just decided to do a little dance?
Yeah, I remember that last possession like it was yesterday. I mean, CAA games were always a battle, and I think returning home to Long Island and getting to play Hofstra, I believe it was their senior night as well. And just getting to just do our thing at Hofstra was an amazing feeling. And I made a save on the last possession. They took a shot a little bit early into it, and nobody pressured me with the ball. And I think my emotions got away from me a little bit. I was definitely a little juiced up to be back on Long Island, winning a big game as a sophomore like that. And, it ended up in a little shimmy shake and a little dance and to celebrate a big W for the Hens.
Yeah, hey, you know what? When you got the intensity going and you're feeling good, do a little dance. We all enjoyed it. Do you, looking back on your Delaware career, do you have a favorite game?
I think that's definitely up there.
Okay.
Our matchups against Hofstra were always a battle. I think my junior year one when they came to us, we put a pretty good beating on them there. Had a good amount of saves, and I think overall as a team win, that one was as well. Yeah, I'd say honestly the best one is how I started my career, taking down number one Rutgers my freshman year, made 19 saves. And honestly, the only reason I count that as my favorite and most memorable game is because it kind of gave me the confidence to say I could do this thing at a high level, and it really kickstarted my work ethic and my desire to play at the next level and continue to get better every year. It was just a shining light that said, I have the talent to do so. I just got to put in the work, and that's what really kickstarted my grind to get to the next level and perform there as well.
Yeah, and you're doing it, playing, of course, with the PLL's Water Dogs, helping them win a championship this past year. We had a chance to talk with your former head coach, Ben DeLuca, to kick off this watch party. I do wonder, sharing a last name, when he takes over as head coach, how many people asked you if you guys were related?
I could not even put a number, and we had to tell multiple people that we weren't related, and then the next week they would come back and say, "Oh, like, is it weird playing under your dad?" I'm like, "Hey guys, like, not related. We told you this last week." It was tough. I think everybody kind of thought that at least like I was a nephew or a second cousin, something like that. But we weren't. But honestly, he once he got our program going and he took us all in, it honestly felt like we were related. We had a really close relationship, I think, even to this day. He really showed me how to work hard and how to hold myself accountable. I think when I was younger and a little bit more immature, I got away with having a little bit fast hands and getting away with some certain things, and he kind of put that into perspective, like you're not going to be able to do this forever. And I think that kind of motivated me to refine my game, critique it, and put more effort into getting better. And I think that's honestly the reason I'm still on a roster in the PLL. Is every day I go out and I just try to critique my own work, like he did to me, and it's been keeping me going this long. So I appreciate the family reference to him. It's not a bad call.
Yeah, not a bad at all. He's turned into to really help this Blue Hens program. We were talking about it before, and we're going to show people the CAA championship from this past year as part of this watch party. And we're going to talk to Charlie Kitchen in a bit. And I know for him, he feels like, you guys and the kind of the core you had early on in Ben DeLuca's coaching career, you guys take some pride in helping build what you guys think ultimately kind of came to a head in the CAA championship year. How do you feel like you guys kind of helped build a kind of foundation for what we're seeing now with this Blue Hens program?
Yeah, I think it all started with that year one, my sophomore year, as well as Charlie's. When Coach DeLuca came in, we had a pretty big roster left over. Believe it was 45, 50 guys. And by the time we were heading on the bus to play Johns Hopkins for the first time in my career, our roster was about 36, 38 guys. There was a standard put in place and an expectation that was demanded of us. And if you didn't meet that or weren't willing to work hard enough to achieve that, it's not that you were cut or anything, but that was put in place so we can win. And I think seeing that sophomore year and being like, oh, this is a different ball game. Like we're doing things differently, and just kind of battling through those elements, and then ultimately to see us start to win games sophomore year, and then win games junior year, and be like, wow, that hard work, like this is what it takes to win. And I don't think we were exposed to that early on in our career, and I think we were the initial group to battle through that, and then keep growing through those growing pains. And I think that's where we feel like we actually helped build something, was when we left my senior year and Charlie left his fifth year. I think it was, we left it in a better place than we found it. And I think that was a huge thing Coach DeLuca preached, whether it was a locker room at a away school or anything, really just leaving it better than we found it. And I kind of knew it was a saying, and I didn't know how much would come true and how much we built. But I mean, seeing them win the CAAs and coming back this year being stacked up roster wise, I mean, it does feel really good that we were a part of building something. And then just to watch some of my best friends still in the blue jerseys go out and battle every day is awesome.
Yeah, I will. I'll leave you with this. What was it like as an alum now to watch them win that CAA championship this past year?
So it was one of the honestly, it was the best day probably of my life to date. My brother actually got married that same day, so
Wow.
we had a watch party at the reception. We were able to get a couple cell phones together, put it on. It was right after the best man speech. They got the goals, they won it, and it all lined up. It was incredible. I mean, it's looking back at it, it just makes me want more as an alumni. So I'm gonna push those guys, and do what I can from the back seat to go get another one, and then another one after that. I think it just creates this community, this camaraderie to like, okay, we were part of the building process, but let's learn how to win and keep winning, and doing whatever we can as alumni to help do that.
Your brother was really nice to throw you such a great party to celebrate Delaware's CAA championship.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a little bit unbelievable to say.
Unbelievable. Great stuff, Matt. Hey, we love watching you throughout your Delaware career, and we wish you the best of luck as you continue with the Water Dogs here in your pro career. Thanks so much for the time, and we're going to continue this watch party.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks for having me, and go Hens.